Born in Indiana, raised here in New York City, Nick Anderer was studying art history in Rome when Italian cooking won his heart and gave him a career.
Back now in New York, he's the executive chef and partner at Maialino, a traditional Roman trattoria. Chef Nick Anderer, welcome to The Dish.
Thanks for having me.
What do we got here?
Well, we have a little Italian feast here. I'm bringing a little bit of Rome to New York City. We got a little abbacchio al forno, which is a slow-roasted lamb shoulder with a whole bunch of slow-roasted vegetables alongside. We have a little bit of a delicata squash that has been roasted as well, tossed a little bit of white balsamic vinaigrette, a little mixed radicchio salad, and then some roasted carrots and some pistachios.
Now, we've had a lot of cocktails early in the morning, but you win the title. This is our first absinthe in the early morning hours. What are we drinking here?
Well, this is a big boy cocktail. This is a sort of a spin on a Boulevardier, which is with an Italian accent. So we use this great stuff from this company called Tempus Fugit, where they research all these old spirits, and it's Gran Classico. It's a bitter liquor. It's good for both before or after dinner, which is why I like it. You can enjoy it all times of the day.
That's really good.
Yeah. I just woke up. Whew.
Wow.
So, you know, your background is art history, as we mentioned in that introduction. How does someone go from art history to one trip to Rome to this great career you've had? Well,
I spent my junior year at Columbia University studying art history in Rome, and I found myself sort of, wrapped up in food almost more than the art and architecture. And when I got back to New York City after that year, I said, well, wouldn't it be cool if I just dove right into restaurants and saw if that was something that clicked with me? And sure enough, it just stuck, and I had the good fortune of working throughout New York City for a lot of great chefs, and ended up working eventually for Gramercy Tavern with Mike Anthony, and then ultimately Danny Meyer, who, as it turned out, it was an odd coincidence that we had done the exact same art history program in Rome, but several years apart.
I read that you literally begged for your first job in a restaurant.
That's true, because I didn't have any sort of cooking background per se, so I had to sort of talk to chefs and say, hey, listen, just let me work for free for a little while. You'll like what you get, and hope it worked out.
When I was reading your background and your appreciation of Roman cooking, I thought it was interesting because you basically said not much has changed. And that's what people can expect from the restaurant. You've kind of updated these really traditional dishes.
Yeah, I mean, in some way nothing has changed, but in another way a lot of things really have. I mean, I think that a lot of creativity is born out of, researching and archiving and going after old recipes. And that's the way we sort of look at ourselves, in the kitchen. Me and my sous chef team will gather around, we'll dust off old books and say, hey, why don't we take these old Roman recipes and try to breathe new life into them? And a lot of times you get the most, I think, sort of creative innovation out of looking, back to the past and seeing what people have been doing for hundreds and hundreds of years.
So not changing it too much is probably a good thing.
Yeah, I think so, and we can't do everything exactly the same as they did in old Rome or even in present day Rome, because we're in New York City. So we find creative ways to use New York City ingredients and the farmers market and our own local purveyors to put our spin on what is, classic Roman food.
You're constantly hearing the word foodie everywhere you look these days. You have an interesting relationship with that word.
Yeah, I think it's kind of weird because, if you talk to an Italian about and tried to describe to an Italian what a foodie is, they would be puzzled because, you would explain to them, oh, well, a foodie is somebody who lives and breathes food every day and loves wine and drink, and they're like, well, that's everybody, so it doesn't really exist out there. So, I think that in New York City now, there's so many great restaurants and the culture of food is so alive. I feel like we're getting there too, where it's like, there's no sort of separation between foodie and the everyday person. Everybody loves to eat, right?
And you've got a new project coming up in 2014. Tell us about that.
Well, we're working on a casual Italian concept with the King and Grove Hotel Group. It's going to be on 29th Street between Park Avenue and Madison. And we're just going to have a lot of fun with wood-burning grills, wood-burning ovens, and it should be fun. Yeah.
So are you able to relax over the holidays? I mean, we catch you at a time sort of in between the big shopping days. Right. Does a chef like you get to relax?
Well, we do like to work a lot during the holidays, but yeah, I definitely find ways to relax. And we have a tradition at Maialino where I take my sous chefs back to my place after a long service of serving turkey and pasta, and we cook Korean food, actually, because my wife is Korean. And so the last thing we want to see after 7 hours of slicing turkey is turkey.
That's a great tradition. I love that.
Yeah.
That's really great. So if you could have this meal with anyone, who would it be?
I'd probably invite Anthony Bourdain over for a couple beers.
Great choice.
Interesting conversation, at least, for sure. We want to get your signature on the dish.
Excellent.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Preparing this beautiful meal. For more information on Nick Anderer and the dish, head to our website at CBS This Morning.